really out here clout chasing and making up Katrina stories just for monetization and financial gains? If you're doing that, you are a very sick individual and you're going to get what's coming to you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vinny Janae. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video, y'all. So in today's video, we are going to talk about Hurricane Katrina and the fake stories that are floating around on the internet. Can I say that I'm surprised? I would like to say that I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised, y'all. Like, people do things for personal gain, whether it's for clout chasing, financial gains, or just wanting to feel important. It could be a whole slew of reasons, right? Just like the late, I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna say it in this video. So, y'all, so apparently there is, and I don't know if the story is fake or not, but there are some holes in her stories that just don't make sense. So there's this lady on TikTok who basically created a whole production girl telling her Hurricane Katrina story. And so she's been getting called out by some TikTokers and other content creators on TikTok and people of New Orleans about her story having holes.
Man, that little winch went off on me yesterday, boy. But I'm going to leave her alone. Look, it's giving Lachey. I just have one question for you. What happened to the man in the trench coat? What happened to the man in the trench coat? That's all I want you to answer, is what happened to the man in the trench coat.
They chased him and he turned himself in because he was scared. They beat the shit out of him. There was 2 police officers in there in those little suites. And when he turned himself in, they said, "We know this is going to be hard for you, but we need you to identify him for us." I said, "Okay." And I looked at him. I said, "That's him. He's the one." And they zip-tied his hands and his feet and put him in a boat that they had drilled a hole in, and they allowed me to watch him float off into the water. I don't remember who those police officers are, but they said, "We're doing this because we want you to feel safe. We don't want you to feel like he's ever on Earth somewhere where he can hurt you ever again." And he had already taken the life of several children at this point. And I was the first one who survived his attack.
So they zip-tied his hands and put him in a boat? And you the first one to survive his attack? Because there was a lot of people that wasn't unalive that was SA. You know, it was more people that wasn't alive that was SA. But for them to put him in a boat, they waste one boat on a man and drilled a hole in it to seal him off, to push him away so you could see, so you don't think he could harm you again. When they got 20,000 people that need to be saved and they put one man in a boat, but they ain't have no water for a boat anyway, because we left on a bus. So you mean to tell me the bus pulled up under the water and got us from the SuperDome under the water? How the bus went under the water and got us? They ain't have no water for no boat for them to put a hole in. And where the police get a drill from? How they drill the hole in a boat? One more thing. And where was your dad when all this was going on?
You know, so my dad was responsible for walking us to the bathroom. And so he walked us to the bathroom, and I remember being scared to go in because it was really dark. And my dad just kept saying, "I'm right out here. Just yell if you need me."
Oh, he was standing by the door, told you to yell if you need him. So why you didn't yell? Why you didn't scream for your daddy?
In that moment, I wasn't thinking about where my dad was. He told me to yell. if I needed him. And I made, in that moment, I made the life-saving decision.
Why is you reading?
What I thought was my life-saving decision to not scream. I said that in the video.
Why are you looking down reading? You had to read what you had to say. And then another thing you said something about, hold up.
So I answered 2 questions yesterday about why me and my sister weren't close anymore.
So you and your sister not close no more. And it's you and your sisters. July 12th. But y'all not close no more. Them TikTok people went and looked all that stuff up, girl. You should have did a little more research before you came up with that story. Should have did a little more research. Somebody said, your dad is still standing by the door, waiting on y'all to come out the bathroom. Now don't use no more of my clips for no more of your stories, and don't put me in no more of your videos. And it's over with. Don't use my stuff no more. Because my stuff is not being affiliated with no lies. Thank you. And have a great day, man. Because you should have ran that by somebody before you came out with that. You should have asked somebody, look, you think if I tell them this, they're going to believe it? That's what you should have did. That's exactly what you should have did. Should have asked somebody, look at this movie I wrote. You think they're going to believe this a true story? That's what you should have did. Should have asked somebody first.
And to the man that said I was lying, how the fuck do you know, sir? How do you know? Because when I shared the clip of your voice telling the story about what you heard was happening, I confirmed it. I came out and confirmed it. You asked for somebody to confirm because you didn't know either. And this is the motherfucking problem. Because once the fuck we can't get on one accord about it really happening to us, because they're saying we're lying. They said we were lying. They said there were no bodies. They said nobody got SA'd. I'm coming out and saying it from first-hand account. You shared your opinion based on what you heard was happening. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. I was in the bathroom, sir, with the guy with the trench coat on. And I'm so mad because this is why black children and black women are not safe. It's because when we talk, nobody believes us. Nobody believes us. When we open up our mouths and we finally say some shit happened, nobody believes us because my accent's gone. Because I lived in Tennessee for almost 15 years without being able to leave because we never had any money after that. I was struggling, impoverished, constantly getting evicted, cars getting repossessed, homeless, living with people. Because that event affected my whole life until I decided that I wanted to change and be different. I couldn't get back home. And even when I came back home, it wasn't home anymore because it was gentrified. Sir, I don't give a fuck what you think. But it's dangerous for you to say people are lying because there are already enough people saying that we're lying. There's already enough. Don't be another one. Don't be that nigga.
I tried to watch all of her videos, but it was just so many. And I was like, let me just get down to the minutia of it all and see, like, what is the discourse about? So apparently while this woman was telling her story, she named it Girl in the Dome or Girl in a Dome. And so apparently what she is saying is that she was in the bathroom. So one of the big things, let me piggyback real quick. So one of the big things at the SuperDome, it was a lot of chaos, it was a lot of drama, it was a lot of essaying, unaliving people. So what we are hearing about, right? And a lot of people who were in the SuperDome in New Orleans are confirming those stories to be true, that people were getting essayed and unalived and all those things are happening, right? So this young lady basically said that she was in the bathroom. Her father walked her to the bathroom, and when he walked her to the bathroom in the Superdome, he said, "Yell if you need me." And so apparently, when she went in the Superdome, there was a man in a trench coat that was saying women and children. And so from her account, from what she is saying, is that the police got involved. This is all going on in the bathroom. The police got involved, and the police took the man in the trench coat, put him on a boat, drilled a hole in the boat, and sent him along his merry way, just so that girl could feel protected.
Okay, I really do want to talk about the people that's lying about their Katrina story. Like, it don't get no more trying to be down more than that. Especially the girl that's going around with the story saying that the police zip-tied the dude. So let's start from the beginning. She was walking from the Magnolia from the 17 all the way to Magnolia. Okay, she gave that was a lie. To see the boy was his whole high school years without lights and water. That's 4 years, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that was a lie. Oh yeah, then he was a valedictorian. Like, it just was just too much. Her story was just too busy. Then, okay, they went to the Superdome. Her daddy walked her to the bathroom. But before her daddy walked to the bathroom, the previous day, they seen dead bodies in the bathroom. So, the next day, her daddy walked her to the bathroom, and he said, "If you need me, scream," because he didn't want to walk in the bathroom. Understandable. The man came in a trench coat, naked. And what she said, oh yeah, he was naked under the trench coat. He punched her sister. She was out cold. Then he started raping her. She never screamed because all she was thinking about was her sister. So you didn't think to scream your sister's name? Like, you didn't think to do any of that? Then she said that people beat him up. Mind you, the daddy has never walked in the bathroom. The whole time we talking about this, the daddy never walked in the bathroom. All these people are coming in this bathroom beating this man, but the daddy still never figured that, hey, my daughter's been in there a long time. It don't take that much long to pee, wipe yourself, wipe your hands. And I'm pretty sure they was not up in there wiping their hands because nobody, like, it was just that bad. Okay, so then she said they zip tied the man, hands and feet, put him in a boat, put a hole in the boat, and let him float away because they wanted to let her feel safe that nobody did this again. I'm a girl's girl. I really am. But I don't believe nobody did her nothing in the Superdome. And it was never that she even lost her accent. Because if you ask me, I don't have a strong accent at all. Okay, but what boat? What boat did the man get in? What water was that deep enough? Because the water wasn't that deep around the Superdome. It wasn't. So you telling me that they just put this man in the boat, it started floating, and nobody was just like, look at the man with the zip ties, hands and feet, and nobody did nothing? You saying that if you said that he was gonna be in a boat with the zip ties, hands and feet, you should have said something like y'all was in the ocean, because it would have been a little bit more believable. But what boat? What boat? They didn't even really have that many boats to go save the people. So how they was doing it? And you telling me that they did all of this? How they was letting you out the Superdome? They was not letting. I know when I was at the convention center, they wasn't trying to let us go nowhere. And from my understanding, they was doing the same thing at the Superdome. Okay, so I just still need. Okay, so then the other part that got me, the whole time she telling a story, she have a notebook. And I feel like if you really was in, like, no matter how bad your story was for Katrina, you never had to write none of this down, because it's just something that you can never, ever, ever, ever forget. You just gonna sit there and speak it. You ain't gotta make it show it, it sound right, because this is coming straight off experience. And if you speaking off experience, you do not have to write anything down. But I don't care what nobody say. God gonna have to come down himself and tell me that happened to that girl, because I know she lying. It just, nothing just sound right. Nothing just, from the notebook, it had me. The no lights, no water. It was just too busy. It was just too busy. And then she said she don't talk to her sisters no more ever since that happened. But everybody posting that you and your sisters on pictures. A couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, a couple years ago. Like, if you're going to say something, I know you did your research, but you're going to have to make it sound a little bit more believable for me to believe you. Because I don't believe shit you said.
So people were calling her out because, one, where was the water? Because people were making good points. The Superdome was not flooded and it wasn't a big body of water surrounding the Superdome. Like, people were not having to get on boats to get out of the Superdome. They had buses, which we know loads of buses come and pick people up out of the Superdome to get them out of New Orleans. And so that was the question number one, because why a boat? Why a boat? There was no water covering the Superdome that there was a need for a boat. Two, why would they waste the resource of using a boat to get rid of this one man and send him along the way when they need these boats to go out and rescue other people who are in flooded water? Three, someone was like, where did they get the drill from to even drill a hole in the boat? And so people are calling her out on her story. And a lot of people's like, oh, we was riding with you until this moment here, because that don't even make sense. And so people are also calling her and saying, oh, she doesn't have the New Orleans accent. I don't really think that matters, because I know a lot of people from New Orleans who don't have that traditional New Orleans accent that a lot of people like to hear. But she did address that, and she was like, she's been living in Tennessee for like, you know, for over a decade or whatever after Hurricane Katrina happened, and she lost her accent. Which to me is another key point that I made. If y'all haven't seen my Katrina video, go check it out. I made that even if her story is true or false, that was a good point that she made, that she could not get back to New Orleans. And I do feel like that was intentional when people were put on airplanes and buses and they weren't going just to Baton Rouge or just to, you know, Houston or nearby places in Louisiana. They wanted to get these people far out as possible away from New Orleans, knowing that they were impoverished, did not have the money, and it would be very difficult for them to get back home. Just want to say that was a key part where I was like, I feel you on that, because I do feel like that was intentionally done. But the girl is sticking to it. She's saying that her story is true. She don't give a dang what anyone thinks. A lot of people say y'all need to exercise with discernment, because I guess it was other things that she said. Because when I tell you, I didn't watch all of it because it was just too long. And I don't skip over Hurricane Katrina's story. Usually I listen to it, but hers was just so, like, the way she told the story, it was so dragged out. It was so dragged out. And I know she said she made notes and she kept having to look and read. I just couldn't watch it. The production of it all, it just didn't seem authentic. It didn't seem authentic like the other Katrina stories. And that's why I tapped out and I just didn't watch all of the series. But there was some interesting things that stuck out to me that doesn't even really matter. But like, she was dating like a senior when she was a freshman, and he was living with her, and I don't know, girl. But what she was also saying in the video is that right before the hurricane hit, she's saying that they took a lot of the young men and boys off the street and put them in jail for no reason, or no reason that she could tell us or think of, or whatever, basically is how it came out. And I thought that was interesting, because I had not heard that. I don't even know if it's true. A lot of people in New Orleans, a lot of people who have been responding to this is saying that that's not accurate information, or they didn't hear about that, they didn't know about that. Well, it also makes me wonder, like, what happened to like all of the people that was in prison or in jail, or you know, what happened to like kids that were in foster care, that was living in foster homes? Like, what kind, like, I don't know, like, there was a lot of things that happened, and we're gonna do a part 2. I'm gonna do a part 2 about the Hurricane Katrina, just to touch on certain things, on certain questions for research purposes, and just give it to y'all, because like, I have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of thoughts. And which leads me to tell y'all, I do have memberships available. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say about Hurricane Katrina, I cannot put out here on the YouTube. Like, I'm going to put the video out, but I'm going to cut and edit a lot. But like, if you want to hear my full blown opinion, it's going to be like behind my membership. Like, you don't have to subscribe to it or whatever, but I'm just letting you know that's how that's going to happen, because just because of YouTube, Google ad friendly things, purposes, whatever, that's how it's gonna happen, okay, babes? So back to the video at hand. So yeah, but so a lot of people are calling her out. A lot of people don't believe her, but then there's other people who are creating fake accounts or fake stories in regards to Hurricane Katrina. Like, apparently one guy was like, oh, I remember Hurricane Katrina, and was telling his story, and babes, he was only 18. And he got called out for it. And it was like, babes, you're only 18. Hurricane Katrina happened 20 years ago. How do you have a story? The other thing was like, someone said that there was an anaconda apparently on top of the Superdome eating people.
I know damn well y'all is not on this internet lying, making up Katrina stories for views. That's sick. Yeah, I was on live yesterday and a boy said that he saw a video, which y'all know I've been trying to find it, saying a boy said they had an anaconda. It's supposed to be a serious video, but he said they had an anaconda on top of the Superdome with bodies in it. So, an anaconda was on top of the Superdome with bodies in it. Of course, we know that's a lie, but I had to imagine.
Are trolling at this point because like, what do you mean it was a big anaconda on top of the Superdome eating people? I feel like people are trolling. People are wanting a moment, but I don't like this. And the thing that makes me mad and why I don't like it, right, is because these stories, these fake stories that people are creating or telling on the internet about Hurricane Katrina can undermine the credibility of genuine, real survivors of Hurricane Katrina. And it can also distort the historical facts of like what actually went down when Hurricane Katrina hit in the aftermath. And not only that, it can piss off, trigger, or re-traumatize those who actually endured what went down when Hurricane Katrina happened, because a lot of people did not believe Hurricane Katrina survivors. And the way that America, the government itself, made survivors, black people, impoverished people, those who endured the storm, feel after the fact, that's why I have a strong problem with that. And that's why y'all have to exercise with discernment when it comes to looking at videos on the internet, because you don't know what's real or false. You don't know who's lying or telling the truth, but you have to exercise with discernment and only take things for face value and leave it for what it is. But the fact that you are out here lying, and I don't know if this young lady is lying, but there are fake stories out there from what I said earlier. But this is dangerous. And it can re-trigger, re-traumatize a lot of people out here on the internet, and a lot of people who were, survivors of this storm, especially like how they were treated when it happened and how people did not believe them, and how some people are still not believing them when they are saying the Superdome was as bad as the chief of police reported at the time. People were getting unalived, people were getting essayed. People still don't believe that was happening. And you know how it feels to be called out as a liar when you are telling what happened to you? It is like, I'm just saying this because I don't know if that lady is telling the truth or not, but I will say that there are holes in her story that made me question the credibility of her story. Not to say it's not true, because she could be from New Orleans and it could have happened. I don't know. But the internet made some good points. But nevertheless, there are people out here telling fake stories just to clout chase, just to gain some sort of financial benefit off of the hurt and trauma of like what people endured, instead of like getting the true information out there. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section below about these fake Hurricane Katrina stories that are going around, because I want to say that I'm surprised, but I can't say that I'm not surprised, because we live in a digital age of where everybody wants to feel important, where people are trying to clout chase, people are trying to get money and all these other things, and whatever other nefarious or self-motivated or self-centered reasons they have out here on the internet. People are just doing things just to do things. But my name is Brittany Janae. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye. It's Brittany Janae, and I have something super duper special to share with y'all. I now have memberships on my channel. How exciting. Oh my god, I know, I'm super excited. So if you join my membership, it comes with exclusive perks, you guys, with behind the scenes content, videos that I will only upload first for my very exclusive members, and evergreen content that I cannot post out here on YouTube because of Google or YouTube policies, right? So hit the join button and figure out which tier you want to join and what fits you best, and let's continue to grow this community. I am forever grateful, humble, and I'm excited. Let's get it.